Hey guys, back. Episode 221, June the 4th, 2024. I'm Brian Dunnigan back in the Rock Life Studios in Monticello, Kentucky. Dan Carter, good to have you back. What's going on?
Not a whole lot.
Guys, we've got, before we get started, go to rockliferacing.com. We've got some new shirts, new hats, new things like that coming out. They're all on the site, or will be by the time this comes out. Use code OUTTHETOP. Save you a little money there. Really support all the shirts that are bought, all the Pit Crew shirts, all the Dan Carter Racing shirts that are on there. All that money goes right back in to race program. So every little bit helps on that deal. So make sure you go on there and get you something. If you're watching this or listening to this and you have not subscribed to our channel, you've not hit the follow button, please do that right now. We'll pause 5 seconds. You go hit the little button, hit the bell onto the side so you get notifications. Do that. Ready? Go now. Okay, long enough. So those, I better see a jump in those numbers today. Little housekeeping to do. Last episode, we had talked about we were going to do an episode at Hawk Pride while we were down there last weekend. That did not get to happen due to the weather. That's still going to happen. We've got that somewhat rescheduled. So we'll let you guys know more about that as it gets a little closer to time. So we'll get right into the weekend from Hawk Pride National Rock Racing Association, round number 5. Overall, what did you think about the weekend? Let's just go back and tell some stories first. So, you came up on Thursday.
Right.
What happened?
Okay, so a lot of people know that our semi is down right now, and that's almost like our living area for the race weekend. And I knew that it was going to rain at some point in time over the weekend, and I knew you were coming down, so I was like, well, I'll just get a motel room for Thursday night and Friday night. We were planning on coming home Saturday after the race. So, with the weather being bad, wanted somewhere to take a shower, dry off, all that jazz. So, get up there Thursday night with my personal truck and a 28-foot enclosed trailer to the motel. Lo and behold, they have nowhere to park. So there's a nice little gravel lot just directly behind the motel. So I was like, well, we'll park there and, we'll be good to go just for a few hours. We'll go to the park in the morning and we'll unhook the trailer and then we'll come back to the motel. We'll just have the truck. I don't even pull in good before the guy's yelling at me, telling me I can't park there unless I am staying at the motel that we're not staying at, that is right behind the other motel. So I tried to flim-flam him a little bit, and I was like, well, I booked the app or booked the motel room online. I don't know where I'm staying at just yet. And then he was wanting to know my name so he could look it up, well, I guess through his phone. So I jumped online real quick, and it was only like $70 for a room. And I was like, well, $70 is a lot cheaper than a towing bill.
Yeah, getting a truck and trailer out of impound.
Right. So I figured the best thing to do, just to keep the headache down, was just go ahead and book 2 different rooms at 2 different motels. And I think he may have known what was up because I was not adamant about the room at all. I was like, just the cheapest room. I think they only had like 1 or 2 rooms left, and I booked it online. And when I went over there to register, and he's like, did you want a smoking room? And I was like, dude, I don't care.
Like, I ain't going in there. I don't care what you do.
Yeah, man. And it, I tell you what though, it's like I just had to check it out when I got the key card. I went over there and make sure that it wasn't ransacked before I went to the nicer motel to stay. But dude, it smelled just like Colonel Tom's Tavern down there, boy.
Dude,
It
I would have went in there and pulled the stuff off the beds, throwed it in the floor, dirtied up all the towels. Like, man, if you gonna make me pay $70 to park my truck in here, you gonna clean this room.
right. And then, like you said, is like may have been cheaper just to try to bribe him, but I was like, my luck, he would have been like $100 and you can stay there.
Yeah, yeah, that'd been your luck. Hey, the good news is that Jody started snoring. You had somewhere to send her.
That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
that's always good.
But that was about the only hiccup we had all weekend. Other than that, it was a pretty good
No
weekend.
flat
Had a
tires
good
on the
time.
way up. No flat tires on the way down.
Knock on wood, no flat tires. So we've been to two races now without flats. The rest of the races we've had to patch a tire every time
Mm,
on the trailer.
yeah. When you might as well go ahead and get them spares on wheels for your next race because you know you're due one now.
That's right.
So that was Friday night or Thursday night. Friday
Right.
night we all go to the seafood restaurant.
Yeah.
I have never been around a group of people so excited to eat seafood all my life. Brantley, it loves that stuff.
Man, I guess it's a Havens family tradition.
I've never
That
seen two people eat so much seafood in all of my life.
I don't even know what it was that he ordered, but man, like they come out and
Yes.
it was like uh, a family reunion size.
They could have brought it out in a wheelbarrow.
Man, and they ate every bit of it.
Yeah.
Oh, where those two little guys put that stuff?
Ah, well, Brantley's little. I don't know about his daddy, but good times, man. I enjoy. I hate we had to miss the little party at the park, but I know
Yeah,
you guys had that previously planned before we knew any of that was going on. So,
right,
I enjoy getting to go out and hang out with some people outside the park every now and again. We don't get to do that a whole lot.
right.
Most of the time, once you're in the gates, you're there.
That's right.
So getting to go out every now and again is fun. So let's get into the racing. Let's go over. I want you to talk about your runs on Friday. Talk a little bit about the stock class and the new car. How did all that feel, and what did you think of your courses?
Yeah. So the stock class, it seems like every time we look at the running order of stock class, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The stock class is growing. It's becoming more competitive, and I mean, I've always loved that full body, but I'm still not 100% comfortable with the car. Like it seems like I talked about the steering wheel just a little bit too far away from me. Um, Stuff like that we're working on. We talked about the suspension and stuff being a little bit too stiff, so we've been playing around with that. But we're continually getting a little bit faster in my eyes, but the competition is getting so stiff that we're not really gaining any position, as far as our points.
If you're not getting faster right now, you're falling.
Right,
If you're running the same speed you were running 2 years ago, you're falling down the order.
right,
And that's in the stock class and the unlimited class both. I mean, it's so fast.
right.
Um, yeah, stock class. I mean, it you look smooth. I think you
Right.
ended up with a top. It's top 6 or 7, something like that. I think.
Yeah, I think we finished around 6 or 7 in both classes, but the unlimited class, man, I'm so excited about that class because it is super competitive, and uh, it's always one of those things you kind of want to see how you stack out against all the good guys, and then I can tell that I'm getting faster and faster each time I drive that car, and man, I can't believe how well that car works. Like, I don't know what kind of guru or whatever Chet put on that car when he built it with L&L, L&W Fabs, man. That I tell you, they've got it going on with that buggy, and it just flat out works.
It
But
looks good. I had several people come up to me throughout the day, and the comment all of them had is how comfortable you look in that car compared to even last year or even back in the red buggy. At one point you were pretty comfortable in the red buggy,
Right.
but it still had its limitations. You could only drive a 64-inch car so hard.
Right.
But I don't know, probably 4 people come up and they're like, "Man, Dan's driving the piss out of that thing."
Oh yeah.
And I've not had that in a long time.
Yeah, and I appreciate all the people coming up and saying how good at they think I look in the car and how much faster it looks. But man, I tell you, those are some rough courses. Like anytime we go to Hawk Pride, I mean, I can pretty much tell you those are some of the hardest courses over the year. You've got parks like AOP, is it Good Evening Ranch in West Virginia? I mean, all those parks just have huge boulders that are part of our race courses, and I mean that right there will test the durability of any car.
Well,
And
and also, I mean, you hear all the time haters online. We're not rock bouncing no more. But to hell,
yeah,
I mean, come to one of these races.
right,
Yeah, I mean, we do have a few courses here and there and yonder that aren't real spectacular, but
right.
Hawk Pride's rock bouncing.
Oh yeah, we're rock bouncing going uphill, and we're rock bouncing coming downhill.
Yeah.
And I've noticed too, like if you're not fast on the downhills, then you might as well be sitting on the backside of the boxes. I mean, and not to mention, we had to go. We drew number 3, so the way that Clyde runs that is odds first and then even. So number 1 goes, then number 3 goes. So I was second out of the gate. Well, the guy in front of me broke, and he didn't get to, finish the entire course. So I'd already told a couple of those guys when they were asking me, "Hey, Dan, you gonna jump off Maverick?" I'd already stuck my foot in my mouth and was like, "Oh hell yeah, I'm jumping off Maverick." I'd already looked at it, but I was still kind of uncertain about it, even to the point when I got up to the top of the hill, I just goosed it, and closed my eyes, and it, according to the video, it looked smooth and it felt smooth.
Yeah.
But I knew good and well that if I didn't jump off Maverick, I wouldn't even have a chance of being top 5 or top 10 in that matter.
See, this is where I'm not, and I guess this is why part of the reason I don't drive. The race was about to start, and I was talking to somebody, and everybody was saying that the UTV guys were going to jump off Maverick, and I hadn't really talked to you, I hadn't really talked to anybody, and I was like, they're going to what? They're going to jump off Maverick? Because in years past you couldn't do that because of all the big rocks at the bottom.
Right.
But I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know. Can it be done? Can you do that safely without it hurting the car? And in my head, I was like, no, they're not going to jump off Maverick.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned. Every one of you did.
Yeah.
And there was only 1 or 2 that looked like they came up a little short, maybe had a little trouble. But I mean, everybody just. Like it wasn't even there. And that goes back to the competition is getting so fast, and these cars are getting so good. I just every week especially in the UTV class, I go, nope. Not gonna happen. They're not gonna do this. They're not gonna do that. And then it's usually the first or second guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just can't. I can't. My brain doesn't think the way your all's brains work.
Well, it's one of those things like you have to. And I remember, I think it was between runs, Clay Kasem was talking about coming off one of those hills. It's like, man, I don't want to, but I know I have to. Like it's that feeling. It's like you don't want to do something, but you've got to have a good positive outcome. And all those guys watch every move that the guy in front of them makes, because if you find a line that works better, everybody's going to jump on that line. So I mean, you can't really hide anything in this sport. You've got to just do it and hope you're faster at it.
That's whenever the next race is, we need to get you entered so you're able to get a draw. So maybe you don't end up having to go first again.
There you go.
You know, that way you can get a few, get to watch maybe at least one or two. But talking about the courses, big topic, and it was at Rush too. So when I was standing around at Rush, videoing, I heard several people at the bottom of the hills mumbling, grumbling, fussing about the flags. And I didn't say nothing. I'm just sitting there taking it all in. So, yes, guys, if you're going to talk about stuff around me, you need to be quiet because I am listening. I'm listening, and I'm going to talk about you. I don't care. But there were several people talking about the flags. And then this week, it almost instantly become, especially on Saturday, it became a hot topic. But on Friday as well, a lot of the UTV guys were hitting the flags at the top of the hill. You wadded one up. Matt Myrick got a couple, I think. There was several, and I could go back and look down the list. There's several people that got the flags. So, you know, used to, we had tape running the course. We had banners up and down the course everywhere, strung by ropes, and that was kind of our course markers. But now our course is marked by the flags, and if you hit a flag, oh, this is the weird part. If you hit a flag and it is clear that you hit it, and the flag falls to an approximate 45-degree angle because you made contact with the flag, you lose 30, or you get 30 seconds added to your time. So it's kind of, it is very much a judgment call.
Right.
It's really hard to have a camera or have the time to go back and watch cameras or have somebody positioned where they can see every flag. I feel like in lieu of a better option, which I don't know what that is, because if you put tape up, you know, you go back to what's the rule. You break the tape and you get penalized. I mean, that's, you can't, I never did like that rule.
Right.
You know, I think the flag rule is better than breaking tape.
Yeah. Because I don't remember I know different series are different, but I remember one series, if you broke the tape, you were automatically disqualified.
Yeah. And see, I don't like that because that tape, and I agree. I mean, if you hit it hard enough, it's going to break.
Right.
But it is stretchy. It has elasticity in it.
Right.
So if you run up there before I did and you hit it and you stretched it and then I hit it a little more and then I broke it, we both done the same thing.
Right.
You know, so I don't like the tape. I think the flags are the best we've got.
Right.
I hate that it is an issue. But any kind of boundary marker you have is going to be an issue.
Right.
And I don't know. Is there anything that you could think of that may be a better alternative?
There's really not. I think that is the better alternative because I would rather have a 30-second penalty than I had be disqualified.
Yeah, and see that's the thing though. Is, you know, we have a little drivers group chat and there was some conversation about this in the group chat. But you know, everybody was talking about the flags. Nobody likes them, but not one idea had come up.
Right.
You know, if you're going to say take them out, and nobody really said take them out, but if you're going to say take them out, then what's the alternative?
That's right. And then we saw that there was a turn in the course on Friday that we came down. Well, on Saturday, the big bouncers were going to go up where we came down. So they removed some of the flags, and then they put one concrete retainer wall block, like one of the 2-ton blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Put that there, and then they also put like another larger rock there. and man, they were eating that larger rock up. Like they were hitting that rock that was supposed to be a boundary marker. They were running over that rock to get up the hill. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Well, I mean, nothing is gonna. If you don't have a clear boundary, and I get it, back in the day it was okay. Here's the hill. You got to go between those two trees at the top.
Right.
And as long as you made it between those two trees at the top, and you hit the timer, you got to complete.
Right.
We can't do that anymore. We talked about this on here with back in season 1 with Wyatt. We talked about this with Wyatt. Give us a finish line. The first one to get there wins.
That's right.
That would be great. I'd love to do that, but you can't. The machines are too good. The drivers are too good. And so if you just go A to B, our races are going to be really short.
Right. And Clyde's mentioned that in the past too. He said, I could do that, but he was like, all it would turn into is a drag race, and it's all motor. Whoever's got the biggest, baddest motor would be the one that wins every weekend. So he wanted to incorporate, turns and jumps and challenges that would bring out the driver, and instead of it would make the driver shine instead of the vehicle.
Yeah. I think our flags are what we've got. Now, there was also some conversation that going forward, and this is not the gospel, this is allegedly, once again, that if they thought drivers were hitting flags on purpose,
right,
that they're going to start possibly DQing people. I'm going to go all the way back to Disney 2 years ago. The hill that ended up ruining the red buggy. We had the conversation beforehand.
Right.
We were like, there's the marker at the top of the hill. And I said, shoot up. Don't even go that way. Go this way. Run over the daggone flag. Go on and get you time.
Right.
And there would have been nothing to really have stopped us from doing that.
Right.
Because we were within the rules and within the boundaries set. As long as you hit that flag. Because if you go around it, you're outside the course.
That's right.
If you hit it, then you were attempting to run inside the course. So I think that going forward, if they think you're hitting them on purpose, and the only reason I bring this up is I don't want that to be a call.
Right.
Because that's when people are really going to start getting mad.
Yeah, because we saw that happen Saturday, and I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have, knowing that I was the only one that had climbed the hill, and all I had to do was climb the hill and finish it, I would have taken the 30-second penalty for a podium spot all day long.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, sometimes you can tell when it's an intentional hit, and then sometimes, there's a big gray area to where, you could say that you lost control of the car, that you slid down the hill further than you anticipated. We hit a flag on Friday. I had no idea. It was so dusty that we had no idea that we hit a flag, or I didn't, and then the car being 12 foot wide too didn't help me. But, there's a lot of gray area when it comes to the flag situation.
There is, but especially with the talk of the intentional flag, DQ, penalty. I say all that to say this: if you're racing, just stay away from them if you can, guys. Let's not, keep it between the lines. If you hit one, you hit one. But please, let's not be hitting flags to let's not be hitting flags on purpose to finish courses, because I do not want to be around when somebody gets DQ'd.
Yeah, and I think there was talk at one point in time. I think this was last year when the Bikini Bottoms thing was going on. There's supposed to be like, I'm trying to think. You may remember it better than I can, but Clyde or somebody was supposed to nominate like 3 people, and those 3 people were going to be like the judges of the race, and they were the ones that were going to be have the duty of determining whether there should be a flag penalty if a flag is hit or not. As far as the 45-degree rule, or intentional or unintentional hitting of the flag.
Yeah, I don't even know if I like that. I
don't want to be guy.
Well, that's it. I don't. It shouldn't. It's not. I don't want it to be on the drivers to make those calls. Let Clyde's got big shoulders. Let them make that call. I think it's our job. It's the driver's job to not make him have to make that call.
That's right.
Because I remember, and this is not the flag. This is the I think this was a starting gate. This has been 3 or 4 years ago at Bikini Bottoms. I remember Paul Wolf coming across the finish line, nicked the starting gate, and got a penalty at finals.
Right.
And it was shortly after that is when we went to more of the flags, and then we went from don't touch them, period, to they've got to fall, and then people were throwing rocks on them and they would fall, and so now it's I mean, they can tell if you hit them or not.
Right.
Just don't. It's really that simple. I can say that because I'm not the one behind the steering wheel. But yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to see anybody get. This is the thing I like about this sport is there's no reason for anybody to get mad.
Right.
There's no, even if, okay, I'm going to put you in a position. You're racing Cooper Bentley for the championship of whatever. I don't care. You go out, you cut the course, right? They don't call it. You win. In that situation, you just sit back. I mean, this isn't golf. We're not going to call self fouls or, things like that. You just sit back, and then it's their job to call you on it. So, like you and Cooper in that situation should never have a disagreement with each other.
Right.
Because you did, I mean, you cut the course, but you done it in plain sight. You should have been called for it, but it's nothing against you. And I don't want drivers getting aggravated at each other.
Right.
And I feel like if we start going down this road of, well, so-and-so hit a flag and didn't get penalized, people are going to talk, and then everybody's going to be like, well, this guy over here is talking shit because he thinks I hit a flag and deserves a penalty. And
right.
That's the only reason in this entire sport anybody would get mad. And so just don't hit them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just don't hit them. That was my rant. Sorry, guys. I've been very ADD today. Man, it's been bad. We started cleaning up at the shop. I was working on something, and I don't even know what it was. And I went over to my workbench to get something, and I looked down, and I have like 16 broken diffs, 6 transmissions, 42 clutches that I've been hoarding because I might need a part.
Right.
But I can't even get to my workbench. So I'm like, no, we're cleaning this up.
Oh, yeah.
So we get about halfway done with that, right? This is my ADD kicking in. We get about halfway done with that, and we're hauling stuff out to our metal dumpsters outside. And I look around, and I'm like, man, we've got too much stuff out here. So then we go get the forklift, right? And then we're moving tires around. We're moving this and moving that, trying to get the front of the shop cleaned back up so I can get in there and weed eat and spray and stuff. Got about halfway done with that. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I left all that other stuff laying in the floor in here. So I put the forklift up. I go back in, start to get all my parts and pieces to finish taking back out to the dumpsters. Phone rings. All my parts are still laying in the floor. The front of my shop has tires and pallets spread everywhere. I didn't finish what the phone call was for, and then it was time to come home.
Yeah.
So it's been one of those days. And I have a feeling when I go back in tomorrow, I started another project right before I left. And so I have like 9 unfinished things at the shop that I'm going to walk into in the morning. And I'm going to go in the door and I'm going to do the first project I come to. And I'm going to get it done.
There you go.
And then after that, it's whatever happens. But I'm going to get one of them done. So anyways, UTV bounty class. Holy hell. It's been
tough courses.
It's been a long time, and I don't remember when exactly, but I did have to go ask Clyde after the first course. I said, it's been a long time. What happens if nobody finishes? You know, who's the winner?
Right.
Because I legitimately forgot. So Casey Howell finished the first course. Nobody else finished.
Right.
And I kind of had a feeling nobody was going to finish the second course. So I asked Clyde. And so what happens in that situation is they go by combined times for the season. And that's how they set the podium for that. So Casey was the only one ended up finishing the course all day. So he was your winner. And then the next 2 were on combined times for the season. But it's been, and you tell me if I'm forgetting a race. Probably Race to the Riches. 4. Race to the Riches 4 maybe. When y'all were shooting up the one I wasn't at. The one right. you all were shooting up that hill. It's probably been since that event. This has probably been the most expensive razor course we've had.
I think so.
I don't know. I would have to count probably 6 to 7 trailing arms, untelling how many A-arms, couple transmissions, some front differentials, several axles. I know 2 of the razors that run had bulkhead issues.
Yeah, frame damage on bulkheads, man. That gets expensive.
It does. And so I know we're not running bounty, and I know we're not running bounty, but I'm going to ask you, were the hills, and be honest with us here, were the hills that tough, or was there something you seen that the guys could have been doing different, especially on the second run? Because there was some people finished or got up Maverick on the first run. They just couldn't get up the rest of it, or like poor Josh Krapinski, they decided to take a nap at the finish line.
Right.
So are the hills that hard? Did they look that challenging, or is there something the drivers could have done different?
I figured there would be more guys to finish hill 1 than what there actually were. But man, hill 2, the the reason we've all been able to climb that hill so easily in the past is they took the bulldozer and pretty much built the bottom of that hill up to make a ramp so that you could get momentum and kind of shoot on up the hill. And I think I I would say over the past year or two, it's just gotten worse and worse. Like I think we've been running that hill for like 3 years, maybe four, and it's always been a breeze to just shoot up it. You just you aim for your driver's tire on there's a seam in the rock, and that's where you want to put your driver's tire in a UTV. And they would shoot us all the way up to the top, and you get up top and you kind of land kind of squirrely and on the side, and it just kind of work its way out. But since that hill has deteriorated so much down at the bottom, the guys aren't really able to get that good of a run up at it. It's like we saw a couple of big bouncers. It's like the suspension was too stiff, and it would just bounce them back off of it. And when I saw Madison hit that hill like that, it reminded me of like one of the first times I ever tried the hill. I mean, it's like it just bounced you right back off of it. But I did see one spot, a couple of guys in the bouncers were hitting it on like far left. There was a little bit of a place that was sticking out that those guys were able to hit it and shoot right up it. But I never saw any of the UTVs hit it that far left. And there also looked like an area far right that had a better run up to it. And I never saw anybody hit that or the far left. They were all kind of just hitting it smack in the middle.
I think, and I'd have to go back and watch the videos again. I think Nathaniel Bell had probably the closest to going out the top. Josh Krupinski had a good shot at it too.
Yeah.
But it looked like to me, and okay, so me and Clint Garrison had a little conversation Saturday, and he said that he was having trouble in the big bouncer, knowing how hard he could hit stuff.
Right.
Even after he's raced it for a while. He says in a razor he's very comfortable, but in the big bouncer he's still learning how hard he can hit stuff. Like he said, going up Maverick, he hit that and never felt it.
Right.
It just took it. And I think you've seen some of that on his second run, because he really didn't. I think he kind of psyched himself out of hitting the second hill.
Right.
His buggy would have been, I think, plenty capable of going up that thing, but like he was saying himself, he just wasn't as comfortable taking that hit.
Right.
But from what I seen, like the UTV guys, and you tell me if I'm wrong, because you've done it, you've been up it. It didn't look like they were hitting it fast enough.
Right.
It didn't look like anybody. But see, I'm where Clint would be. I don't understand how hard you can hit that, even in a side by side. At some point, I feel like your front bulkhead's going to go smack into that rock.
Right.
Or the way I would think about it. But so, do you think they had room to maybe get a little better run, and they just weren't taking it, or I don't know. What do you think?
I think they did. I think a lot of it has to do with the suspension setup too. Like I kind of feel like I feel like Madison's may have been a touch too stiff, because when she hit it, shot her straight up. And then a couple of guys, I think even Austin Tidwell, he hit it pretty hard, and it was shooting him up right about where he needed to be. And a lot of those guys were making it up to that second ledge, but they just didn't have the momentum to push them on past that second ledge. So I feel like if they would have hit it just a smidge harder, they would have probably had no problem getting up it.
Well, the reason I say that is right before we got on, I was watching, and I know me and Dan were just talking about this guy before we come on, and I know we've said his name a lot here in the last 3 or 4 episodes, but he's out there, so I see it and I think about it. Nick Rock had done a video today about what he felt in the bouncers was the correct way of going up that.
Right.
And, you know, his take in the big bouncers was the people who got up it hit it hard.
That's right.
The people who didn't get up it didn't hit it hard. And
Right.
and the reason being isn't necessarily it is the speed, but it's not. It is the speed, but it's not. His rationale was you have to have your back tires hit that rock to help launch you up.
Right.
If you just hit it and it's just your front tires, then it's just going to throw you up or throw you back. You have to hit it hard enough to make your back tires get to the rock.
Right.
And he done a really good job at explaining that and explaining how your tire is not just a tire. It is also your suspension.
That's right.
Which, you know, a lot of we don't think about it that much. I mean, you kind of do, but, you know, anybody that's ever fooled with circle track knows that a pound of air pressure is 25 pounds of spring rate.
Right.
And if you think about it like that, you know, it's just like throwing a basketball at that hill.
Right.
You know, if it's flat, it's gonna fall. It ain't gonna do nothing. If you got a lot of air in it and you can throw it at it hard, it's gonna bounce.
That's right.
So if you guys, you need to make sure and follow him. I have caught myself in the last couple months watching a lot of what he puts out and what he has to say, and it's very informative.
Right. And it's information that a lot of these other guys aren't going to share with you.
Yeah. But yeah, he explained in detail, you know, how he thought it was that he was able to get up it. And then he also explained, you know, why he thought the people who didn't get up it, why they didn't.
Right.
And that was why I was asking about the speed. I mean, I'd have to go back. I need to go back and look at the videos again. My video from the weekend, YouTube just is having one of those fits on me. Wasn't having a good day. But Busted Knuckles got some really good videos from the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And you can really see tire placement and things like that in his video. So I need to go back and look at that and just kind of, I don't know, just for my own curiosity.
Right.
Not that I'm going to be going up that damn thing anytime soon. But I don't know. I like to know those things. But yeah, man, it was just a bad weekend to be a side by side at old Hawk Pride. And we'll talk about this more here in just a minute. But old Josh Krapinski had a weekend. You know, Nathaniel had a weekend. Madison had a weekend. Everybody, really. I mean, Casey finished the first hill, broke on the second one.
Right.
Just bad weekend to be a side by side. Bad weekend to be a big bouncer as well.
Yeah, those guys. Normally, we don't see a lot of tire issues with the big bouncers.
Oh man!
But this weekend, I bet I saw 5 different people changing tires.
Scott Goforth is sitting in Kodak, Tennessee, counting y'all's money right now. Counting your money. Dude, I don't know how many. I'm like you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, without thinking about it too hard, I can count 7.
Yeah.
Probably way more than that. I mean, when you walk through the pit area in between runs, it looked like death.
Oh yeah.
You know, there was just stuff sitting everywhere with flat tires or on jacks, or there was people running up and down the hills with these giant 43-inch tires, ratchet strapped to the top of razors.
Right.
It was a violent weekend. And not only that, Timmy Cameron has now been beat in the new bouncer. Just like Zach said, he beat himself.
Right.
But still, electrical issues for Timmy, electrical issues for Brandon. So they didn't even break nothing, and they broke.
Right. Yeah, I think Timmy got a throttle body, and I don't know what was going on with Brandon, but I know it was electrical.
He shot right up Maverick. When he landed at the top, it just shut off.
Yeah.
Cheryl's probably going to be mad at me too. Then the racing series posted their flyer for the next event for West Virginia, and Brandon's buggy is the cover photo.
Oh, yeah.
And me being the smart ass I am, I commented on it. I said, well, you could have at least picked a buggy that runs. And Cheryl was quick to comment on that. She's probably going to yell at me next time I see her. But
man, yeah, you don't want to get Mama Cheryl on you.
The nicest. I've got the nicest person out there on my bad side, so I'm scared now.
Well, we love all those guys, and they know that we're just picking that.
I hated it for him when he couldn't get it refired, and I was honestly, after it was waiting on him to get it refired for the second run. I thought, of course, I wasn't over there. I thought they got it fixed, but evidently not. Hopefully they get that straightened out. I think they had something to do with a bad tune file or something. I don't know, but maybe they can get it fixed. But yeah, bad weekend to be a tire, to be a trailing arm, to be a arm, to be a anything.
Right.
It was almost a bad weekend to be me. I had to move around 2 or 3 times to keep from getting pelted with rocks. I don't know how these guys stand. I've been lucky. I just started filming.
Right.
Not even a year ago. I've been hit like 7 times with rocks. Luckily, I've had my camera and my phone little thing right in front of my face every time. And so it has taken the hits and not my face. Well, I don't know how some of these guys survive.
High vis.
It's got to have that high vis on.
Yeah, if you don't have that high vis on, them rocks can't see you, bro.
That's what it is. I need more high vis.
But man, you talking about that reminds me. We were at Hawk Pride. I'm pretty sure it was the SRS race when we raced further down. It's been several years ago, but there was a lady. I'm wanting to say that it was an iPad. I don't know why she had an iPad, but there was a rock come off a hill, and it was. I mean, I'm talking like softball size rock, and it was headed straight for her. She was inside of a side by side or a buggy or something, and she threw that iPad up, and dude, it smoked that iPad. If it wouldn't have been for that iPad or laptop or whatever she had, dude, it probably would have hurt her pretty bad.
Well, isn't that where Holt got hit in the face with a rock?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, same place. I think that's a big reason why we don't race that little section anymore.
Yeah.
It's just there's just not enough room. Hard to get people away from it.
Right. But yeah, man, them rocks, they'll tear your ass up if you don't watch it.
Yeah, I don't know how some of these guys. I like being close to the action, but I always try and get myself in a safe location. And I am also respectful of the guys who were there before me.
Right.
Like, I understand that there is a pecking order, and I understand that the guys that have been doing this for 10 and 15 years, they get to be wherever they are. And I'm trying to get out of their way and stay out of their way. And, that's what they do for a living. I'm piddling.
Right.
So I try and be respectful of them and also stay out of harm's way. So sometimes I just hung back there with Clyde this weekend and
Yeah.
monitor the timers with him.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah. So anywho, anything else you want to hit about the actual race weekend? Overall, man, this was I was a little bit disappointed in Bouncer Hill 1, but only because I couldn't see the top.
yeah. And where I was, I could kind of see the top. I don't know if you saw some of my videos, but it wasn't great. Like you couldn't see the entirety of the top.
Yeah, that was, I think, better than, judging by the sounds of the RPMs that were coming and the clouds of dust that were coming from the top of the hill. I believe that was the best place to be.
Yeah.
So if we could have seen that, that would have been quite a bit better. But Hill 2 kind of took me back to, I'll always, from here on out, I always am going to think the last Bikini Bottoms race was probably the best rock race I've ever seen. Stuff like what happened this weekend is going to be a close second to that. I don't know. I like it when they have to get rowdy, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They like those guys earned the podium this weekend.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, let's get on to our out the top and on the hook winners from this weekend. So our out the top, I'm going to nominate, and I know I said his name a few minutes ago, but he got a first place on the second hill, tied for first for the weekend. I'm going to give it to Nick Rock. Or yeah. I'm going to nominate Nick Rock. Let me put it this way. If you've got anybody that you want to throw their name in the hat, we'll do that. You got anybody on your mind?
Yeah, man, I think Nick totally deserves that because he did get first on Hill 2. And what he's gone through so much in the past 3 or 4 races to get to where he is now, man, he's been fighting for it, working hard for it, and that was a well-deserved podium.
Yeah, I want to give it to Cooper because I think this is his – I don't know if he got any wins last season or not, but I know for sure this is his first win this season. But he's up there every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and he has good runs, and he's in the fight every weekend. Nick's not always right up there with the top 3. And for him to have such a good weekend after having such a bad run of luck, I think he deserves that. So congratulations, Nick. You're our out the top winner this week. Now for the opposite of that, our on the hook. This could go to a plethora of people.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, this guy deserves it because you can't let him off the hook for...
Yeah. So none of the UTVs, right, got the second run. There was a couple that got up Maverick. I think 3 got up Maverick on Hill 1. Casey Howe finished the course, but there was one other UTV that got all the way up and all the way back down.
Yeah, and like he had a smooth run up into that point.
Our old buddy Josh Krapinski.
Yeah.
This is Heartbreak City, man.
I tell you.
I mean, the dude makes the run. Smooth. As smooth as it can be.
Right.
Smooth. He is within 30 feet. 30, 40 feet.
It was less than 100 feet. So I'm going to say probably 50, 40, somewhere around in there.
From the finish line. And then, I mean, all 4 legs up in the air. Kind of like an old dog. You just want to run up and rub his belly. I mean, what are you doing, Josh? You had it.
without any flag penalties.
No flag penalties. No nothing. And he takes a nap right before the finish line. That kind of reminds me of, and it wasn't that bad. And we're not going to let him live this one down for a while. So you remember a couple years ago, Dirty Turtle. Yeah. You run up the hill and turn over, and the front tires are almost at the timers.
Dude, I'm going to say I was 5 or 10 foot. I was so close, I took the steering wheel off the car and threw it trying to break the timer. Or trying to break the beam for the timers.
Yeah. It was one of those situations for Josh. Oh, I mean Heartbreak City. So Josh, you are our on the hook winner this week. You don't get a prize. You just get to say you sucked. Sorry, buddy. All right, let's get into the rundown from Hawk Pride Off-Road Park National Rock Racing Association round number 5. Where you want to go?
Man, I'm telling you, there was some stiff competition in the VIN class, and we saw a new driver. So let's see how the VIN class stacked up.
So forgive me for not having his name. They scored him under Charles because he was running for Charles.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure of his name, but he was running for Charles, so he got Charles's points. So Charles technically was your winner. Don Curtis in second, Justin Hoback in third. For the season, Don Curtis is your points leader with 492 points. Justin in second, and Charles, after a rough rush event, is down into third.
Let's try the UTV stock.
UTV stock class. Cody Kason's your winner. Brother Clay threw his hat into the ring for the stock class this weekend. He finished second, and Daniel Heckley in third. For the season, Cody Kason is your leader with 476 points. Brandon Davis in second with 413, and Daniel Heckley with 403.
That's stiff competition. What about the UTV Unlimited?
Clay Kason was your winner there. Timmy Cameron in second. Casey Howell in third. We've got a pretty good battle going on over there with Clay as your point leader at 470. Timmy Cameron in second with 456, and Dylan Dowler 437 points.
And man, this next class, I know that this weekend shook the points up just a little bit for the UTV Bounty class.
Bounty, Casey Howell's your winner. Madison King in second, and Nathaniel Bell got third place. Remember, that goes back to combined times for the season for your second and third place. Madison is your points leader now with 342 points. Josh Krapinski with 335. Casey Howell with 329. And Nathaniel Bell is in fourth with 328. So any of those four guys and girls, any of those four drivers, I feel like has a chance at your championship this year.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be tight. We're a little bit halfway through the season, and it's still anybody's game.
Yep.
And speaking of another point shake-up, man, Bouncer, let's hear it.
Okay. Cooper was your winner. Nick Rock in second, and Daniel Heckley in third. Now, Cooper, Bentley, and Nick were tied for points, and then that goes to combined times for the event, and Coop got the squeeze on that one. For the season, Timmy lost a little ground here with a big DNF on hill number 2. Timmy is still your points leader with 482. Cooper Bentley now with 449, and Daniel Heckley with 436. Now, the big mover here, other than Timmy losing some ground, is our top 6-7 has really shook up. Clint Garrison was in 4th place, but with a DNF in hill 2, he dropped from 4th to 7th. There's not very many points in that little window there, though. So be on the lookout for those 4th through 7th points, guys. They're really going to be trying to get in that top 3.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to everybody on their podiums this past weekend. It was definitely earned.
Yeah, it was a heck of an event, guys. Glad we got to see everybody hang out. We may or may not be at West Virginia, like I said, I'm either going to West Virginia or I'm thinking about going down to spend a little time at Windrock to help get that event area cleaned out here in a few weeks. Don't forget, Wayne County Fair, July 5th. Rock Life Off-Road side-by-side race during the tough truck competition. We're at $1,100 to win, plus our raffle that we're doing at the store for a set of Super Grip tires and wheels. $5 to get you a ticket. You get 5 tickets for $20. Or if you hop online and get you a Rock Life Off-Road, one of our new flat bill hats, hop online, get you one of those, and I'll throw your name in the pot. Or if you get one of our pit shirts online, we'll get you an entry as well into that giveaway. You do not have to be present at the event to claim your prize. Also, we get 10 chassis. Somebody is going to take another $500 home from Dan himself. So right now, I think we're sitting at 7. I think we're sitting at 7 guys locked in. So we need a few more guys. Come on out to the Wayne County Fair July 5th for the Rock Life Off-Road UTV race during the tough truck competition. Next National Rock Racing Association event is going to be West Virginia at the end of the month. Also, our next episode, guys, is episode 50. That's half a century for us. So we're gonna do our next episode is gonna be a mid-season recap. We're gonna break down our halfway point in our season, and we're gonna do some other little cool things for our 50th episode. So be on the lookout for that. Business of Rock Bouncing. We're still going to be recording that here in a few weeks, and that'll be coming out. We've got 4 more really cool guests for that series, so those are going to be coming out through the rest of the year. Daniel, you got anything else before we go?
That's it.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Boom. Bye.
See you guys.
An hour.
That's pretty good.